Let's now invite Jeffrey Bloodworth, political analyst from Gannon University. Jeffrey, good evening and thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
How would you describe this moment? Thousands taking to the streets once again. There is anger against the administration, law enforcement, a massive trust deficit. Your thoughts on this moment?
Well, this is Trump's America, and I think that these are the kinds of showdowns that Donald Trump most certainly wants. What he wants is to incite well-intentioned protesters to be seen as provocateurs and stopping law enforcement from carrying out their duties. This is kind of out of Donald Trump's kind of classic playbook. And what he wants to do, I believe, is motivate his supporters for the midterm election to turn out. And, he's producing a television show, which sadly is pitting Americans against Americans. And, we've tragically lost a life last week over this.
I'm so glad you brought up the question of midterms, Jeffrey. I'd like to know more from you. When you say that this is what Donald Trump wants, how do you think this will impact or affect Trump presidency?
Well, I don't think the controversy is going to change President Trump's policies one way or another. What Donald Trump rightly fears is a Democratic takeover in the House and potentially in the Senate, which will spell a very different turn for his second and final term in the White House. So what he knows is that when he's not on the ballot, and he's not on the ballot in 2026, Republican turnout declines dramatically. And I think this is an effort to ratchet up tension and to attempt to kind of get Republican turnout to a presidential level, which is their only hope of not losing the House. Beyond an election, I mean, this is just what Donald Trump wants.
Right.
It's drama, whether it's in Venezuela or in the American streets.
Okay, let's just talk about what's happening on the streets as well. There is, of course, a lot of outrage, but, people are against law enforcement, especially against the operations and the manner in which ICE is conducting these raids in several of, especially democratic cities. But let me ask you, will this, movement, if I could call it, do you think this will result in any sort of change in stand or position on how ICE operates?
Oh, not at all. I think as we've seen this with Donald Trump, I think he's going to double and triple down. And, Kristi Noem, the head of the Homeland Security, has promised even more agents going into Minneapolis. What they want is more confrontation. I can tell you I meet in a small town, which is about an hour from where I live in a city, with concerned citizens who are Republicans and independents. And I met with them last week after this shooting, and it's an area that went 80% for Trump, and a huge number of people turned out for these monthly meetings. And there's anger and a lot of concern, even in Trump areas. This is not going to change Donald Trump's policies, but I'm not sure this is popular even in kind of red America. And we'll see in the election. But what I've seen personally is that people are quite concerned with chaos in the streets, and they see it coming from being promoted from the White House.
Jeffrey Bloodworth, political analyst at Gannon University. Appreciate your time, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.